Welcome back to Startup Hack. With my 25 years of development experience, here at Startup Hack, we turn beginners into full-stack developers in as little as 3 months. So in today's video, we're tackling an essential topic for .NET developers, interacting with the database. When it comes to database interaction in .NET applications, you have several different options, but two of the most important ones are Raw SQL and Dapper. We'll compare and contrast these two approaches, providing clear examples of their use cases, advantages, and drawbacks. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of when to use Raw SQL versus Dapper and how each can fit into your development workflow. So let's dive in. All right, so in today's video, we're tackling an essential topic for .NET developers, interacting with the database. So we're going to dive into Raw SQL versus Dapper. Now, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we try to bring you great content. Also, we always post the code samples, so check the link down below and make sure to pull down the code samples. They're totally free, and we provided hundreds of different code samples. Now, if you disagree with something, awesome. Make sure to leave me a comment and let me know. I love a good, healthy technical debate. Or let me know your opinion about it. And let's dive into Raw SQL versus Dapper. Now, one of the first things is Raw SQL is a simple way to... Raw SQL is simply a string of SQL commands that a developer sends to a database to perform various operations. It's the traditional way of interacting with a database from a .NET application. So you can see that I have on the screen here an example of select star from employees where salary is greater than some really large number. So now, the advantages of Raw SQL is flexibility. Raw SQL gives developers complete control over the SQL commands that you send to the database. You can optimize these queries, use them in SQL Server Management Studio, and then test them and use them then. So now the performance of Raw SQL can be faster than regular ORMs for complex queries or large data sets because there's no overhead of object mapping. Also, there's a lot of familiarity. Anybody who knows SQL can dive into your application. Now, the drawbacks are it's tough to maintain Raw SQL queries, and it can be harder as the code base grows and changes, and queries can become scattered. Also, security. Raw SQL can introduce security vulnerabilities if a user input is not properly sanitized and validated, leading to SQL injection attacks. So you can see here that, plus, we can see with something like select star, this probably isn't the best way to do it. Now, an example of where Dapper comes in and where I think you'll really like Dapper. Dapper allows you to then use Raw SQL and then allows you to be able to do different things with mapping and other things to make it safer. Dapper is a lightweight ORM that extends the functionality of Raw SQL by providing an easy-to-use mapping mechanism between SQL results and .NET objects. It's a popular choice among developers because it strikes a balance between the flexibility of Raw SQL and the convenience of an ORM. So here's an example of a Dapper query that retrieves all the employee salaries that are above the $100,000 like the other one. So we can see that it does the connection.query and then maps it to an employee object, which would be mapped similar to what our database is, and then allows you to then put this salary threshold to be, to be the 100,000. Now, some of the advantages here is the parameter is actually going to prevent a SQL injection. So one of the big advantages of Dapper is that Dapper automatically parameterizes SQL queries, which helps prevent SQL injection attacks. So instead of this being a variable, like this one, you would have to make this a variable. And so instead of that becoming a variable, this actual input protects you from SQL injections. Now, it also simplifies data access. Dapper eliminates the need to write boilerplate ADO.NET code and provides a simple API for executing SQL commands and then mapping their results. So we didn't have to do any crazy code here. All we did is say query and give it the object to map to, and you can see from there that it allows it to then map to this. Now, the performance is that Dapper's lightweight implementation and object mapping capabilities can lead to faster code execution. Dapper actually performs better than ADO.NET in most cases. Now, the next thing is that some of the drawbacks is that Dapper does provide advanced query building and manipulation capabilities like ORM such as Entity Framework or Hibernate. Now, there's also a little bit of a learning curve with some more complex parts of Dapper, and developers who are new to Dapper may need to learn a little bit of its syntax and features. Now, overall, though, I really do feel like the advantages of Dapper really outweigh the downsides of it. Raw SQL and Dapper are both different options. However, Dapper simplifies data access and improves security And so ultimately, I really feel like Dapper is the best choice for almost any .NET developer over Raw SQL. And I think this has been proven time and time again. If you disagree with me, I'd love to hear about it because we love at Startup Hack here, we love to train software developers. With my 25 years of development experience, we turn beginners into full stack developers in as little as 3 months. Disagree with that? I'd love to hear your comments down below. Leave a comment and then we will catch you guys next time. And make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we try to bring you great content. And make sure to download the code samples. While this one wasn't super useful today, there's a lot of really good useful and hundreds of different code samples out on our GitHub repository. So go check it out. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.